Hi, this is.
Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Welcome to We Got Issues. We Got Issues. I'm so excited to be with you on today. And I am the one that's going to be talking to you guys on our FOF for Friendship page. And oh my goodness, today's topic is going to be absolutely amazing. So you guys
Am I
be
talking to the audience or are you talking to the audience?
is, traveling on today, and
This is frozen.
with Gloria, so I'm it. Tag, I'm it. So I'm gonna be working the Facebook and working the phone. And I'm gonna be doing it all on today. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining us each and every day. We so appreciate you guys. Checking.
Am I talking to the audience or is Chrisette? Can you guys hear me?
Mute yourself, Sabrina.
Can you guys? Am I talking to Facebook or is?
I'm doing this. So Sabrina's on. Okay, good. She's muted. All right, there we go. There we go. So you guys, we are excited again about today's topic is raising up winners, and we're talking about our children and sports. And I know. Hey, Drea, how you doing? Hey, Tanisha. Hello. Hey, Sharon. You guys are amazing. We truly appreciate your support. So we're talking about raising up children in sports and all of the lessons and everything that goes along with that. And so
where my girls at? It's going down tonight. I'm so excited. Can you hear me? I hear some feedback. It's Gloria Mayfield Banks, and I'm so excited. I think we got it under control now. I am just so excited on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. I'm from the DMV. I'm born in Detroit, Michigan, but right now I'm in Florida, and I'm so pleased to be with you guys about today's show. Welcome to WFDF 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. And I don't know what you're doing today. I don't know what you're doing, but what I do know for sure is that you're locking into the force of friendship. And we're so excited to be here with you, to give you love, to give you lessons, to give you laughter, to give you real, powerful, passionate. You guys, not Pollyanna. We're here to deliver it. What's currently happening, what's hot right now, what's on our hearts, and we can learn from. So we're so excited. Listen. Let me tell you right now, we want to hear from you. We want you to be one of our callers tonight. The number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. Let me calm down a little bit. Because honestly, every single day, Monday through Friday at 6 to 7 p.m., I get so excited to be on here with my girlfriends and to be on here with each one of you. To those of you who are watching us or listening to us on iHeartRadio, Facebook, however you're coming into us, whether you're on our site or you're on 9:10 a.m., we're excited to have you here. And of course, oh my goodness, this would not be the force without my girlfriends. So I'm sending it first over to the Detroit, Chrisette Ellis.
All right. Oh, Lord.
Or
okay, I'm here.
There she is. She's there.
I am here. I'm so excited to be here, you guys. We're wearing so many hats. Technology is a major deal when you're doing a live talk show. But I'm excited to be here with my girls, and I'm excited. Today's a beautiful day in the D. I'm excited about our topic on today. When I tell you, I've been thinking about it all day and just can't wait to hear from our phenomenal guest that's going to be introduced in just a few minutes. It has been a wonderful day. I was just thinking about, my children and how, they grew up with some sports. They didn't do as many sports as Sabrina and her boys, but I just know the power of putting our children in sports and how it does make such a big difference in their lives. So I'm excited. Can't wait to hear from our guest. And I'm going to throw it back over to Katrina Harris Earl.
Hey, you guys. Hello. Hey,
Here
y'all.
she's coming. There she is. Yeah, we got you.
I'm coming to you from the road. Katrina goes west. I am somewhere in Iowa. Me and Dorothy in Iowa. Okay, I'm gonna let you know if I see not Tito, Toto. I'll let you know if I see Tito or Toto. But this is a great topic. I'm so excited. Thanks to the Wi-Fi, and I got my husband over here. For those of you on Facebook land, we are rolling literally right now on the radio, and so I am passing it to my girlfriend Sabrina. What's up, girl? Champions. You know a lot about raising champions.
All right.
Everybody, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you guys. You are getting a good behind the scenes of how all of this works. I am working the Facebook on today, and I have to mute and unmute and all of those things in between. It is just amazing to learn how to do all of these kind of things. Katrina handles all of this, but we absolutely want you guys to give us your comments and any questions that you may have once you meet our amazing guest, Wendy Hilliard, who is, of course, the sister of Gloria, and she
Oh, I'm so glad to hear from that. For y'all, seriously, we got issues. And we're so excited about how the show is taken off. And you know what? Each one of us are like, OMG, technology figured it out every second, figuring it out with our guests, figuring it out with ourselves, doing lessons before we get on talk radio. So listen, I want to tell everybody out there that welcome to the word virtual, and that if you're still having issues, like we got issues, it's okay. You're at the right place at the right time. And we got advanced issues. I was watching on TV today, Virgin Airlines getting ready to go to Mars and getting ready to go to the moon. And here, Katrina is driving through Iowa on talk radio, you guys. We're advancing in all different areas. And you know what? It is because of we had the opportunity, and we talked about that once before, but here's our guest bringing us another opportunity. I am so excited that tonight we're going to be talking about children, sports, parenting. And we got all geeked up yesterday because Sabrina's just come back from the Olympic trials. And when she came back from the Olympic trials, we said we want to hear all about the behind the scenes. And then we thought we'd add also into the mix a true person who can really give some great information and great conversation and great inspiration and great education to the parents who have children in schools, to the parents who are all about it. So I get to introduce you guys to my sister, Wendy Hilliard, out of Detroit, out of Harlem, lives in Harlem, from Detroit. We're from Detroit. Chris is from Detroit. It's super exciting. As she comes up, I'm going to read a little bit about her accolades, okay? Wendy Hilliard is a trailblazer in women's Olympic and community sports. She was the first African-American to represent the United States in rhythmic gymnastics, to become president of the Women's Sports Foundation, and is the United States of America Gymnastics Hall of Fame. I mean, really? I read her accolades, Sabrina, and I think about her being a rock star for real. She's competed in 3 world championships, the 1984 Olympic trials, and coached a 1996 Olympian. Wendy has worked as a gymnast and an Olympic sportscaster. She has performed with the world's top gymnasts and on Broadway. Wendy was the director of sports for the New York City NYC 2012 Olympic and Paralympic bid. I mean, they were this close to being the people that brought the Olympics to New York. In 1996, she founded the Wendy Hilliard Gymnastics Foundation, which has provided free and low-cost gymnastics for almost 25,000 urban youth in Harlem and her hometown of Detroit. Wendy studied Russian and physical education at Wayne State University and graduated with honors from New York University. She resides in Harlem with her husband, Robert Mensah, and their sons, Kennedy and Bailey, my nephews. I'm so excited. Let's see if we can bring her on the screen, on the Facebook screen. But Wendy, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi, how are you? This is so exciting. This is so exciting. We're so excited to have you with us, Wendy. I mean, seriously, I was reading over her accolades and I mean, okay, you guys, grew up with 3 sisters. Honestly, all of them are fabulous and I'm so blessed. And I can honestly say Wendy has been such a good sister and a great friend, but she's passionate. And okay, she can talk about a lot of different things, but I always ask her to share the stories of what it's like to be a parent of kids who are talented and being parents of kids who aren't talented but love sports, or being a parent of someone who loves sports, or being a parent of someone who doesn't like sports at all but you love sports, or what's the situation when some are really great and some are not so great. You guys, I mean, we have it all here in this conversation, so I'm excited. Plus, all the force of friendship have crossed over one way or another in sports, with kids of sports, so we're all up in it. The other thing I want to say is I want to, again, encourage our people to please call in at 313-778-7600 because we got stories. We got stories. So the first thing I'm going to do is throw it over to you, Wendy, just to give them a little bit about your background, a little bit about your story, introduce them. And I don't know if you're crazy, lazy, funny, noisy, but we all take on a personality. I don't think you're any one of those, but they're going to know who you are. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Gloria. I might be on the crazy side. I'm not lazy, but I'm kind of crazy. I'm crazy about gymnastics. I'm crazy about esports. So I competed for on the national level, elite international level in rhythmic gymnastics. So that's the Olympic sport with the ribbons and the hoops. I actually did all the gymnastics before. So I did tumbling and the bars and the beam, things like that. But because they had these Russian coaches that moved to Detroit and they were hired by the recreation department. So all of a sudden I had these really great coaches and I was practicing in the recreation center, which really didn't cost much, but we became this really great team in Detroit. And so I competed around the world, 15 different countries. I had a very long career as a competitor, and then I had a very long career as a performer and a coach. And then I really started my foundation. So it's like one of those things where the sport, fortunately, I was very passionate about it, always have been. People ask, and you will know this, if you have a young child that just wants to do something. I want to do it over. I was that kind of kid. I want to flip. I want to do it. I want to do it. I just gotta do it. And that's what I did. And my mom was gracious enough and supportive enough to let me do that one. And that's kind of the first step I would tell all parents. If you have a child that's really passionate about something, you're lucky. You're totally lucky if they find something. And so what your job as a parent is to try and support that. And that's what's really important. And so I was fortunate that my mom did support it. My sisters too. I know. They supported my career
all the time.
I know. I was always going. But in the end, I want people to realize the importance of sports and that it's part of your education. You want to make sure that your children know how to read. You need to make sure your children know how to do sports or take care of themselves. It is part of the education because you need to stay healthy as an adult. And we hard to tell any adult, try to be smart without learning to read. Well, you can't be fit if you don't know how to take care of your body and learn sports. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, because especially in our community, as you can see, there's a big difference if you're not healthy. And that starts when you're young And it starts learning how to take care of your body and knowing what to eat. And there's a reason. Just to be fit, if someone calls you up and says, I want you to be fit and go out and do some jumping jacks, it's not really that much fun. So might as well do something that you learn to do. But my story, it's been tough. I was the first Black. I competed around the world. There were times when they didn't want me on the team. And that's when I became an advocate to make sure that kids had the opportunity to do their sport. And I became an advocate, of course, for women's sports, which is the funniest thing, which Sabrina will understand, because women's sports work in the Title IX, and where wrestling was. The idea was that we didn't support the wrestlers. As she found out, I was a huge supporter of wrestlers because we hosted the World Championship for them. And it was just one of those things that happened. So it's just, I'm an advocate for all kids to learn sports so that they can be healthy adults.
Well, I want to tell you that you guys see the breadth of the stories that we can cover, the breadth of the conversation that we can do. So, Wendy, I'm glad you opened it up that way. I want to point out the thing. You guys, seriously, last week, I put on my social media, last week, I was here in Florida last week, and Wendy sends the family a text 3 minutes before. She says, turn on Good Morning America 3. And I turned it on really quickly, and then her face pops up. So she's on TV last week. Good Morning America did an absolutely phenomenal coverage of that. That was so funny. But I also want to say to people that as we're talking to Wendy, she's also an amazing entrepreneur. So many times we have to understand, not only she has an amazing foundation and is an entrepreneur and handles the whole nonprofit world and handles the whole thing about writing grants and learning how to ask people for money and doing the things that are not comfortable and running a board. I mean, it's just super crazy. So who wants to talk next? Anybody want to say something next? Oh, let me just check. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me? Wendy, this is Chrisette. Welcome to We Got Issues. We're so excited to have you on the show on today. And when I tell you, I'm just so elated that you are doing your foundation. And then when you decided to bring it to Detroit, to bring it to your hometown, to the D. I remember I had a young lady at the church. Her name was Brandy. And I mean, she was, just the way she was built. And her mom said she loved gymnastics and so on and so forth. But of course, in the Black community, there aren't a whole, at least where we live, it wasn't a whole lot of individuals that had programs to support, these young people that wanted to flip and to jump and to do gymnastics. And I remember Gloria said something about you were coming to Detroit and you were starting your foundation. And I was so excited because she was able to hook up with your organization and go to several of the practices. And I was just so happy that she could see somebody that looked like her, and somebody that, knows the industry, knows what it takes to be successful. So I just wanted to pop on and say, thank you so much for giving back. It's one thing when you excel, it's so easy to walk away, but you came back home. Yep, the D is home for you. And so we're just so excited that you chose to come back home to start your organization. So just thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. It's a joy for me. Detroit's my home, and that's where I got started. So you got to bring it back sometimes.
I want to say that I want to give everybody a peek into what Sabrina did last week, and then come back to Sabrina. We're going to go into a peek before going to the break. Sabrina, just give them a peek inside what you were doing last week, and then we're going to continue the conversation.
Excellent. Just got back from the Olympic wrestling trials in Dallas-Fort Worth area. And talking about exhilarating, talking about exciting, talking about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. These folks, they put their everything into their Olympic dreams. And they're the best of the best in the USA. And so, Wendy, we know that you have competed at that level. So we thank you for your work, for your blood, sweat, and tears, because we know to compete at that level, it ain't easy breezy. It takes everything you got. The coaches, the training staff, the family support. It takes a lot to get that level. But I'll tell you, you talk about Title IX and girls wrestling, women's wrestling coming on fast and strong. You were part of that fight, and now we're sanctioned in over 30 cities. 30 states in the country, and women's wrestling is really, really taking off, and it's because of people like Wendy who understood the importance of fighting and getting and saying, you know what, we make a difference. These young women need to be able to wrestle and be showcased at that highest level. And so, again, it was exhilarating. I was telling a girlfriend last night that these people that you see train, and the people we thought were going to win, a couple of them did not win. They were the favored, and a couple that they had no idea that they would be the winners. They came through. My husband always says that anybody can be beaten at any given time. That's what we saw. So came home. Kenny has an Olympian who made the team, and we're so excited. Yes. So we are this close to heading to Tokyo. So it's all exciting.
That is really, you guys, seriously, when we come back from the break, we're going to be able to talk about what it's like in the behind the scenes of the Olympics. We're going to be excited to hear it. So don't lose sight of, we want you to call in and hear your voice at 313-778-7600. You're listening to We Got Issues on the 910 AM Superstation. See you in a minute, right after the break.
Okay, you guys. So we're on commercial break, and I can't see all. Okay, let me see all of the comments that are going on. All right, let's see. Okay, I don't see the comments. Maybe Katrina has the, okay, here we go. What is the name of your organization? Okay, we absolutely need to talk about Wendy's organization, the name of it. How many of you have children that are in gymnastics or have, they want to go to the Olympics and they are competing on that level? Absolutely. We want you to call in or to leave your comments here. Yes, we are so excited again to have Wendy. Oh, thank you so much, Drea. You are the best. You really make us feel good. So thank you so much for, always participating, calling in, leaving your comments. It really does encourage us. So anyway, we'll find out exactly what the name of Wendy's foundation is, and make sure that we put that in the chat. So I want to know, what sports are your children in? How long have they been doing it? What do they love about it? What do you love that your children have learned from being a part of sports? So put it in the chat. We want to know, because I know that it's fun, right? It builds camaraderie. They meet friends. That's really important. And some of the other things, Wendy talked about it. It promotes an active lifestyle. There you go. The Wendy Hilliard Foundation. It's in the chat. And so, yeah, we want to know, what are some of the sports that your children are involved in? And what are some of the lessons that they've learned? And how many of you have had children that...
We are back, and we are seriously talking about raising up winners. You guys, we're so excited, and I'm so thrilled to have a guest, Wendy Hilliard of the Wendy Hilliard Foundation out of Harlem, New York, and out of Detroit. And she's got years of experience as a gymnast in the art world, then as a coach. Now, you guys, she not only has done all those things, she has two world-class sons that are competing in totally different sports. So she's not only, she does all that, plus mothers, plus participates, plus gets parents in the participation. Then, of course, we have to, she doesn't know it, but we're going to really get Sabrina talking about what it's like to raise three children, all three academically phenomenal, seriously, and two world-class sports. And it's just the behind the scenes, the front of the scenes. There's so much that we could talk about. So we do have a caller to start with. So let's go to our caller. I think we have a Monday on the call. Do we have a Monday on the call? Do we have a caller there? I think we might have a caller.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Auntie. How y'all doing? We're doing so good. Hi, man. How you doing? I'm great. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of comment on how important I think sports are, kind of getting your kids involved in sports and giving them those opportunities. Yes. Is this Kennedy? So, go ahead. Is it Kennedy? This is Quincy. This is Quincy. I couldn't tell. I can't believe I couldn't tell you by your voices. That's awesome. Quincy, yes. I'm the proud auntie. We're all the proud auntie. Yes, Quincy. Tell us, because your perspective would be fabulous. Yeah, so I just think looking back on kind of my own sports career, I just have to be grateful for all the doors that it's opened and all the great people I've met through it. So I think sports is just a great vehicle for kind of teaching kids a lot of life lessons. And so it kind of packages up these lessons so they can be taught through the game, whatever sport it is. And so, I mean, you have values like teamwork, how to follow orders, how to kind of learn and grow as a leader with yourself in your own right. And also things such as time management and just a lot of things that you need for once you're in like a professional setting or a professional field, like say you're trying to get a job or something like that. It also teaches you respect. And so I just think on top of that, it can also, it's just a great way to get active and kind of just build out a hobby. And there's so many sports. Like at my school, Princeton, there's, I think, some of them, like they have like the highest number of sports at our school. It's got to be like 37 or something. And there's sports I've never even heard of before. Right. Before I even went to Princeton, like there's crew, which is like rowing. And so I'll see people rowing down a river in Princeton, and I'll be like, wow, that's pretty cool. There's stuff like so many different avenues that you can take. And so I just think it's good to kind of like, if your kids want to, I think it's good to definitely encourage them to play sports and whatever sport that may be, there's something for everybody. I think it definitely allows kids to express themselves and kind of like gain a little self-confidence as well. So I just think it's a great thing to get into. Oh, Quincy, I'm so glad you called. You hang on there for a second, you guys. This Quincy has been an outstanding, and Quincy, can I tell you that we all love seeing you profile on Princeton social media? Like, we love watching it. Like, that's Quincy. You do such a good job. You're such a vision for them. You're such a superstar trainer. And I absolutely love it. But here's what I want to do. I want to take a second and let the mother brag on you. And while she's bragging on you, and I really want her intensely, I'm like intensely asking her to brag on you. Talk about what she's done and what's different, because there's different personalities with different players. And so, Sabrina, as you brag on Quincy, also share with the women how to be a great mom of children who are talented in sports.
That's a good question, Gary. Anytime I'm able to brag, I got to mute.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Quincy is a four-time
state champion in two different states. And so the 9th grade, the 10th grade, the 11th grade, and the 12th grade, he was a state champion in his sport.
And they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Many of you know that
the first African American to win a gold medal in this sport. And we're just so blessed that our boys took to the sport, because not every athlete's child or children want to do the sport. As a matter of fact, some of them want no part of the sport. And so you have to not push them. You can only introduce them and not push them. And Kenny's just so blessed because he has some buddies and their friends didn't want to wrestle. And I'm so glad that I had a boy after the girl, because Sydney was our firstborn. And when I tell you, we had her in track, we had her in T-ball, when she didn't like none of it, okay? And I'm so glad a boy came along, because Sydney probably would have been wrestling and she didn't want to. So we say you don't push them, but you strongly encourage them. Quincy's just been an amazing young man. He's found his way. He's now a junior at Princeton University. So not only do athletics give you just a great opportunity to be good in the sport, but it affords great academic opportunities as well. And so, Quincy, we're so proud of you. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for calling in. You always make us proud. You guys, I will tell you it's a balancing act because it is a grind. But I'm so grateful for sport and young people because I have two boys, 18 months apart. And when I tell you that wrestling was my sanity, I'm telling you, I was so glad that they went to practice. They were worn out when they came home. They've been wrestling since they were 5 years old. And when they got home from practice, they were ready for bed. So that was me. That was good. That was good.
That's awesome.
Quincy, thanks for calling in. Auntie Gloria might.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I love what you did. And I love that long list of all the attributes that one can get from being in sports, whether you are a champion or just involved at the level that you want to participate in. You know, Quincy, you just gave a long list, and that's so awesome. And it's so awesome for you to be such an amazing role model at this age, Quincy. And where are you going to go from here? I love the fact that you've strongly balanced every bit of the Monday and found your own path as well. So we love watching you. It's so exciting. Thanks for calling in, Quincy. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody want to add to that? Katrina, I think you said you wanted to say something.
Yes, I wanted to say something that was so good to hear, Quincy. Awesome. Wendy, they are just commenting in the chat. So many moms that are out there that have kids in multiple sports. And of course, I have watched Sabrina and how she has masterfully handled it. Can you just talk about as a mama when you have multiple kids and you have multiple sports, kids in different sports, how do you just give the moms some, it could be stressful, I'm sure, on top of schoolwork and everything. So can you talk a little bit about that, as well as what happens for parents when it's financially a little challenging for them?
Yes.
Yeah, those are big questions. I'll take the first one first. Is when you have kids in different, it is a balancing act, which Sabrina said. And it's just like if you have kids doing different activities, you have to dedicate this time, and you have to realize that it's so important for their kids, their growth. What Quincy talked about is the things you want all kids to have. You want them to be confident. You want them to have a good work ethic. You want them to be able to express themselves. And you have to put in the time to take them to all these different activities so that they can do it. So it definitely is a commitment. And on the financial end, it's the commitments first. I will have to say to everyone, it takes time. You have to invest this in your kids, and that's your time and effort. The other part is when it's financial, to find programs, because that's why I came in. Gymnastics is a very expensive sport. But the kids on my team, the parents still have to get those kids to practice 3 days a week on time and get them here. You know, I will work on the help with the finance, but the really commitment is you as a parent saying, I got you. You want to do this. Are you going to commit to it? Are you going to do every day? Are you going to practice hard? Are you going to do what your coach says? Those are the things that first you commit to your children. If you have financial challenges, you look for different programs. My kids, because I have a gymnastics program, which is finance, they did ice hockey in Harlem, which was a free program because I wanted them to learn how to skate. You know, they did martial arts. I mean, it's like you just have to go all over the place. It's surprising. Because I have an organization like this, I find other organizations that do what I do, and you just have to hustle. Just like you want your kids to do good, they're out there, and you just have to hustle to find it. Because here's the thing, as a parent, if you're dedicated enough and your child will show up on time on a regular basis and be coachable and do this, the programs want to have kids like that. That's what we want. We just want to have kids that can be there all the time, and we can take them someplace. So don't give up. Don't give up the fight, but know that it's an investment that's totally going to pay off.
Hey, Wendy, I have a question to ask you. As a parent with children, how do you know which sport to get them involved in? I mean, if you have boys, do you automatically assume that, I have these boys, I want to put them in baseball, or I want to put them in basketball? I mean, as a parent, is it something that naturally comes, or is it trial and error? You know, you kind of let them play a little bit of everything until they find the perfect sport for them.
You try to do a little bit of everything. That's the key. And don't be boys like this sport or girls like this sport. Those girls that are wrestling are tough as nails, and that's what they want to do. So if you have a child that wants to do a certain sport, because my oldest, Casey, love him, hated baseball. I took him a little t-ball thing. He was out in the middle of the field. He said, "Ma, I told you I hated baseball." I'm like, "Okay, next." Okay, here we go. It's like, and we had to try a lot of different things. But what Quincy said has a really good point, because rowing, which is a really good program for colleges, if you got a big kid that's really strong, boy or girl, that wants to work hard, that is a great opportunity. There are a lot of scholarships for rowers, and you don't have to have a lot of technique beforehand. You just have to be crazy strong and crazy. So there's so many sports, like he said. So I would say to everybody, just go try it. Take a semester here and there. And that includes dance. I saw someone chat it that their daughter is like a competitive dancer. That's competitive. Right. So there are things like that.
That is so good. That's so good, because I do want to get to women's sports. I do want to get to the part that you've played. Just, you know, there's so much in the media about gymnastics, women's, the U.S. team. I mean, just so much there. And you see behind Wendy, you see some books, one of which she's right on the cover of. And so we're so excited of all the things that Wendy has done. Let's go to the lines. We've got some callers. I think Ayana is on there. Ayana, are you there? Great. Well, what would you like to talk about? We got issues, and I'm so glad you called in.
Hi, I have a question for Ms. Wendy.
Yes.
Okay, so I am a competitive dancer, and I want to do something related to U.S. Olympics, but there aren't any U.S. Olympic dance teams. So how could I go about that?
Excellent question, Wendy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that dance is an Olympic sport.
Honey. Yes, they're changing the Olympic sport all the time. And want to make sure you guys can hear me. So anyway, I said my mic is muted. You guys can hear me? Okay. So anyway, there's not an Olympic sport, but here's the thing about Olympic sports. We just find the highest level of what you can do. The Olympics is like 550 people that make every Olympic team, you guys. Let's get it straight. The Olympics is very, very elite. But you have to have a lot of people supporting that. And any type of level that you go, the highest level you can do, you will get benefits from that. So if they have a lot of really serious dance competitions out there, and they're very serious about it. So keep going as you go along, and just be in a situation where you can just be your best. And it may be a different field, but you just got to keep going what you're doing.
Ayana, I'm so glad that you called in, because that gave clarity to how intense the Olympics is, and how there's so many sports that are great that may not be in the Olympics yet, where you can still succeed, where you can still have a great time, where you can still get great money, where you can have a great future, where you can make and get all those things. So I just appreciate the fact that you called in, and that you brought dance to the conversation, because that is such a strenuous, very hard, athletic to me. And I'm so glad that you were in it. I'm so glad you loved it. Thank you for calling. We got issues. We're so excited to have you in our tribe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to another caller. Adele, are you there? Can we hear you?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Great. How are you? How you doing, girl? How are you?
I'm very good. I knew it was a question. But thank you for including me.
Yes.
You want to know what my comments and questions are?
I would love to know.
Thank you. My son is also an elite athlete, and he's been categorized as that for a little over a year now, actually almost 2 years. And so what's happened, he's college age and applying to colleges. And he's been enjoying all the successes and substances as both an athlete and as an academic scholar, which is what I want to bring up.
The fact that he has done very well academically as well as athletically has helped him tremendously. And he's been offered quite a few, he's been offered a number of scholarships. All of them have been merit-based. All of them have been merit. Yes, all of them. This is not what we expected. Right. We expected a combination. But what the schools have told us, what I'm trying to share with everybody, is even if you have more talented athletes, I think, and I've been told, trends have changed if you're looking at colleges. Not all colleges, but many. They, being athletic talented is not enough. At many colleges, depending on your sport. My son's a runner. He's a distance runner, which is even more unusual. If he plays football or basketball, he wouldn't be facing these things. But he doesn't. He does distance running, which is mostly a Caucasian sport. So a combination of Caucasian sports. So what has happened is because he's done well academically, without me going on and on about it, he's a good student and a good athlete. So he's been accepted to colleges on that basis, and these various coaches have come on so strong. But after the fact, that's why I've taken this time to call about this. It depends on which colleges you're interested in, which colleges your child is interested in, and not just college, but at the high school level too. We hear, I live in Los Angeles, and they look at all these things, and you want to go to a great high school and this and that. And it's not enough anymore to just say, I got the most talented athletes. It depends on what you want and how limited your skill set. Yeah, that's a great comment. That's a great comment, Adele. Stay on the line. Yeah, and I'll just say this last thing, because I know you have other people. We have been involved with 3 Zooms in the last week and a half, because most colleges have already made the decisions about people. For those of us who are seniors, and now those who really want your kids are selling. They're not asking, they're selling if they want your kid. And if your kid has made it academically, guess what? That makes it 3/4 easier for the athletic coach to come up with more money, to push for their acceptance, to be in the mix. So now they don't have to fight the C average. Now they're looking at the B+ or A average, and they can just say, hey, we already made it this way, and we need this. And that is what's been happening to my son. And as I said in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and now they're recruiting me, which is really funny to me. It was just him for a long time. Now I mean, right. Now you're being recruited by the school that wants your son. Is that what you're saying? Yes, they want to recruit me, and the schools they want my son. Right. And thank you, girl. Oh, go ahead. I'll just finish this. I just want to emphasize that those things are very important. And there's more than one way to play it. That's my point. Excellent. Thank you for including me. No, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You guys just brought up so many different areas that are critical. Academic versus athletic. And then the deal that they can make with your child, given the athletic, given the colleges, given the acceptance. And then when she was talking, I was thinking, pour on top of all of that, the fact that we're in a pandemic and what that has happened to the sports programs, to the type of money that they have at the sports programs, and then layer all of that with, if they can't win with the student, they're now recruiting the mother to go. So, this is a very heavy conversation that has so many arms. I want to throw it to Wendy and ask you what your thoughts are, especially the part about academic versus athletic and what's going on with the colleges and what you hear, because I know that your foundation is a feeder to some of those scholarships and athletics. And then I want to throw it back to anybody who wants to open, but Sabrina, I know that your children shined in both those arenas as well. So Adele, you brought up some great things. Thank you so much. Wendy.
So here's my take on this, is that I really believe in what they call Olympism, which means you focus on sport, you focus on academics, and you focus on art. You should do that. You should teach your kids, appreciate music and art, and they should do well in school and sport. But here's the part that's very important. Overall, it's changing in college sports, and it depends on what your sport is. So my kids, my youngest son is a tumbler. He's an elite tumbler, but they don't have college scholarships for that. But that's not my concern right now. My concern is he can be the best athlete that he can be. And I think parents have to take this together, because Sabrina's got very talented academic kids, right? And I do too. But here's the thing, not everyone does. For those parents that it's hard to balance, and let's say right now, maybe your child is not doing as well academically, still support them in their athletics. I will tell everyone, I tell my son, who is a very good mathematician, that I flunked algebra. And my mother was a math teacher. Lord have mercy. She was just so nice. Let's talk about it. But, I appreciated my academics stronger when I got to college, and I graduated with honors. How did I do that? Because I was so good at sports, because I knew how to hustle. So there are two things. I would say on the college level, it's all over the place. So they definitely look for athletes that can support their team. They will. They make room for them. And there's that takes a whole other show. Gloria, right, But it's changing. Yeah, it's changing because of the pandemic and the cost of the sport, and certain sports are not getting it. And then, just so you know, if you open it up, I personally think, like, they could finish March Madness, those brothers need to be getting paid as sisters. I'm sorry, they're working really hard, and they're making a lot of money for everybody else. And so I technically really don't believe that they, you know what I'm saying? So everything is going to be looked at differently as we move forward with the NC2A. But overall, I would encourage this. Make sure your children do as strong as they can on all levels, but support them when we just have to support them. You don't want to take something away from them because they're not doing something else. Still support them. If they're happy to be doing better in athletics and they're not doing as well academically, still support them academically, but let them do their athletics, because that's how they're expressing themselves right now. And the most important thing you want to have in kids is confidence. Confidence will get them anywhere they need to go.
I know that Wendy and I have had this conversation, and Adele has had a conversation. They got academic and athletic athletes. And so this is a very, very passionate place for Wendy, especially when she hears a parent say, if you don't do better in school, I'm going to stop you from going to your sport. And she just says that that's like one of the worst things you can do to a child. Snatch him or her away from where she is good. So I love the passion that she showed in that. It was awesome. I'm going to throw this to Sabrina, because she also brings in that other element where she's married to a coach. I mean, she's married to a top coach who also was athletic. Just Sabrina, I know you have some thoughts on that. So give us a little bit of thoughts, because she's also talked on this We Got Issues show about finding money, that you can find money. And when you said you got to hustle to find that money. So give us some thoughts on that, Sabrina, because you had that situation, I know, academic, athletic.
Right, for sure. Gloria, if when we
encourage the boys to work hard, okay, because I'm muted. Okay. Always we just need that hard work pays off. And so throughout the boys' careers, we always just said, work hard. We want your education to be paid for, basically. And we just knew that there was a lot of money out there, and we wanted to find it. And so I just want to encourage the parents out there, don't quit your young people's dreams. I was talking to a mother the other day, and she's like, well, I want him to stay in state because it's cheaper in state. And the kid is looking at her like, but Mom, I don't want to stay in state. And I just think it's important for us to give our children roots and means. When you have them firmly planted, let them fly. If they want to go out of state, there's money out there for them to go out of state. And so it's just real important to explore all options and know that sport is a way to take your child far, far away. And it might be too far for you, but it's not too far for them. And these young people have got to live their lives. And so for us, we say that, but our Sydney academic scholarship at Howard University, smart as a whip. So her education was paid for. Kennedy, when it came time for him to go to school, he was recruited by UNC
UNC, Chapel Hill, and guess what? We say let them fly, but then the family followed Kennedy to college, okay? Because the school recruited Kennedy, and then they offered Kennedy a coaching job. But the coach talked to Kennedy first and said, how do you feel about your dad being in the room? And so that was good that it was the student's thought process first. And so that was important. I just believe that there's a lot of money out there. And the caller, Adele, said that, academics raise a whole lot now. And sometimes they're strong in academics and sometimes they're not. The schools will work with you. They will work with you. If they want your child, they will find a way, make a way. That's just been our experience. And so my thing is this, as Wendy said, these young people deserve to have options. And options, Quincy now is tracking the pre-med program at Princeton. He wants to go into medicine at one of the finest universities in the country. And I will tell you, I do believe wrestling helped find his way to Princeton. He's academic, very, very smart young guy, but being a wrestler certainly helps sweeten that pot. I'll pass it on. I can go on and on. I'm passionate about young people in sport and academics, but I'll pass it on. I know. I love the way you said that. And going to gymnastics and academics, this will tell anybody. What I was saying was, I'm so glad you brought that up, Sabrina, because when you talked about the athletic and the choice of the athletic and the academic, and some parents, like the parents, we know had both, and then like I had neither. I wasn't shining academically. I wasn't shining athletically. I was a cheerleader on the side, like, you can do it. You can do it. So that really makes a difference. Now let's switch the music here for a second and talk about women in sports. Women in sports. What's going on with that? I'd love to hear your thoughts, Wendy. It's nice to hear the excitement because Sabrina talked about that. You told us a story about a woman wrestler. You have to tell that story again. So let me go to that story, Sabrina. Let me go to that story and then go to Wendy about women in sports because that was really powerful. Yes. Wow. And when you probably, wait a minute, I'm trying to.
Okay, when you probably heard about Blades girl, Kennedy Blades,
17 years old, out of Chicago. She placed second at the Olympic trials for wrestling. And I mean, young girl, there were actually 2 or 3 young girls who placed top 3, 17, 18 years old in high school. And we are just so excited about where women's wrestling is right now because just 2 years ago,
we were nowhere at the place. And so when you talk about Title IX, and now I will tell you, we were a little salty because of women's wrestling, we lost some weight classes for men wrestling. And so that put a squeeze there. But no, it's like, hey, we gotta do what we have to do. So when you talk about the power of female sports right now.
Well, that's a great story. And wrestling is really showing the way that people may have not wanted to accept it at first, but now they're doing great. I mean, the U.S. women especially, it's amazing. It's all about opportunity. So where are women's sports now? I mean, we definitely have come a long way, but we have a long way to go. And nothing kind of highlighted that more when you saw at the NC2A, the women's weight room as against the men's weight room. People are just absolutely still not thinking, right? The key is that you have to give the same opportunities, just like you want to give the same opportunities to people, if you're race or your gender or that's the same thing. And for girls, sports, I mean, I can just tell you the benefits of sports: confidence, you stay in school, you're less likely to get pregnant, you're less likely to get breast cancer. I mean, the facts of girls participating in sports is incredibly, incredibly important. And so that's why it's really, I try and keep my girls, because this is what happens. Girls and boys kind of take sports the same up until about age 10. Then between 11, 12, 13, 14, the girls really fall off from doing sports when they really need to be doing sports right in there. Because this is the time when girls have to be confident about themselves. They have to be protective of their body. They have to know the power of their body and what they can do with their body. And they have to protect it. My girls that are on my gymnastics team at 15 years old wearing leotards out there on the trampoline, they got power. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing something very productive for themselves. As you all know, we're women. And when girls, it gets to that teen time, you have to really give a lot more support. And sports is one way that does it. And we say sports, you will talk about, when I talk about sports and when Sabrina's talking about, the work ethic is what all these coaches are looking for, whether they have academics or not. They know if they've got a jock, they've got somebody who's going to work really hard. They know when it comes down to it, they're going to be able to put it down to the muscle and work really hard. And so that's why you want to have this support. And that's why it's very important for girls. We definitely have a long way to go. Equal opportunity, the women's soccer team. I mean, the things I can just throw you.
Like, talk about the women's soccer team.
World champions.
That was amazing.
We definitely have a long way to go, as you can see in America, but we're on our way. And I will say to those parents that have girls, do your best to keep them in sports. It will pay off. Keep them active. Keep them busy. You just want kids to be busy these days.
Right.
But girls, and sports is a great thing to do.
Wendy, I have a question. What are some of the things, in Michigan with the doctor Larry Nassar, who pleaded guilty to, touching these young women and doing so much with these young girls who were, trying out for the Olympics and just, going there to be mentored by someone, a coach that took advantage of them. What are some of the things that you would say to parents that they need to watch out for when it comes to getting coaches? I know we kind of feel more comfortable when you talk about you have a female coach because you kind of feel a little bit more safe, but we also know that there are male coaches out there that are phenomenal and that they are not, touching these girls inappropriately. So what are some of the things, or what are some of the safeguards that they've put in place because of people like Dr. Larry Nassar?
Well, yeah, that's really important. They've totally really opened up. The biggest problem with the Nassar was the secrecy. And people have to really understand, Larry Nassar was one of the most prolific child abusers. I mean, when people are good at what they do, unfortunately, he was very good as a pedophile. I mean, he fooled so many people. So that you have to look at that part. But I think as a parent, it was the systems that were not protecting the kids. These were elite athletes, and granted, they were traveling by themselves and things like that. There's no doubt that there should have been more watch over them. And here's the other thing that will happen. You have to listen to kids, right? When they say something, and this is what happens. They said something a few years back and they weren't heard. And that's where the fall was, right? That they didn't take them up. You may not think a 14-year-old or 13-year-old has something to say, but part of why Larry Nassar really got caught is because he went to college. And them girls in college, the athletes were like, yo, stop. They were speaking up, which was harder for the younger girls to do. You understand?
Well,
but there's been so many changes in the sport it's a Me Too for everything. Ain't nobody supposed to be touching nobody. And it's been a mess on a lot of levels. So we're all coming in this time.
I just want to say, because we're going to close this down right now, but with this, what you're saying is so critical that we have to listen and that there's no space for that. And you gave us like 4 different topics that we can continue on talking about with We Got Issues. We got the women, we got the gymnasts, we got the athletic, we got the, it's just so much that we can talk about here. But thank you so much for bringing us a viewpoint on We Got Issues, a parenting point of view with sports and raising up winners. You guys, this was this is WFDF. 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be ready. Get your fingers ready because we are going to be talking to you. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Can you hear me, Wendy? That was amazing, Wendy. That was so. Uh-oh. Can you hear us?
Oh, you guys, this is amazing. And you
That
hear
was
me?
so good. That was so good. And we'll have a recording of this as well. So that was great. But you were awesome. Thank you so much for this. I really, really appreciate it, sister.
And Wendy, can you tell everybody how they can support your foundation? That's one of the questions I meant to ask you while we were on the air. What can individuals that want to support you, how can they do that?
The best thing is to go to my website. I mean, donate. Even a little bit will go a long way, and you can get somebody to be able to try gymnastics to set them on their path. So the best thing I say, to go to the website and support us that way, and also just support young people. I love to do it through gymnastics, but I think people need to realize investing in kids is really important.
Right.
So Wendy, are you still coming to Detroit still? How often
Yes,
are you here?
We still have our program there. We're virtual right now. We're waiting for Michigan to open up. We just added 4 board members from Detroit. So we are really committed. We have 4 board members on our overall board to make sure that we grow the Detroit program. And we're looking forward to doing that in the city.
Awesome. I would love to connect with you later to see how we can do something with our young people at Greater Grace.
Oh, okay. That sounds perfect.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you, Wendy. We appreciate you so much. Thank you guys for joining us on Facebook. We loved it. That was awesome.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Awesome.